So glucose breaks down to form ATP, which is a chemical energy in a two-step process. The first step is glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm, and pyruvate is formed. Next is the Krebs cycle, which takes place in the mitochondria, where pyruvate gets converted into ATP. Now the sum total of these two processes form respiration. Now what is the significance of the first step or glycolysis? Is it just an intermediate step for the formation of energy from glucose? Well, let us see. Coal helps in the formation of electricity. But at times, very pure form of coal gets converted into diamonds, which are used in making jewelries. Similarly, pyruvate can get converted into amino acids and glycerols, which are the main constituents of proteins and fats. Now, proteins and fats together form the lipoprotein structure, which helps in the formation of cellular membranes and various cellular structures. So, glycolysis indirectly helps in the cell structure formation. Now, let's come to the next step, Krebs cycle. What is the significance of Krebs cycle? A lot of ATP is formed. Now, why is this ATP formed? What is the importance of ATP production? Just like inverters store energy in the form of chemical energy, which gets converted to form electrical energy when there is a power cut at our home, so that there is uninterrupted supply of electricity. Similarly, in cells, ATP stores energy. Now, what is ATP? Well, ATP is the short form of adenosine triphosphate. A comes from adenosine, T comes from tri, and finally P comes from phosphate. So, adenosine is binded by 3 molecules of inorganic phosphate. Now, in cells, this is the general form that is found. Adenosine bounded by 2 molecules of inorganic phosphate forming ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate or 2-phosphate. Now, during respiration, energy is produced. Now, using this energy from respiration, an inorganic phosphate gets bounded to ADP to form ATP. So, this is how ATP stores energy from respiration. Now, amino acids get converted to proteins and glycerols get converted to fat. Now, can you tell me the source of energy? Yes, ATP helps in these conversions from the constituents to the final product. Now, let us see one example of how ATP helps in the conversion of amino acid to proteins. These are ATP molecules. Now, ATP breaks down to form ADP and inorganic phosphate. Now, using this energy from the breakdown of ATP, chains of amino acid is formed. Thus, a protein molecule is formed. We know that chains of amino acid forms the protein molecule. Now we know that several amino acid chains forms protein molecules. Now energy is required for the formation of these amino acid chains, and that energy is provided by the breakdown of ATP into ADP. So glycolysis helps in the cellular structure formation because proteins and lipids are formed from pyruvic acid. Now glycolysis and Krebs cycle, both of them form some amounts of ATP which helps in the functional aspects of the cell. It helps the cell to perform various functions. So together, glycolysis and Krebs cycle is known as respiration.